Number 16 says, if a set of data points has a trend line of y equals 3.5x minus 4, what is the predicted value of y when x equals 4.5? Just replace the x with 4.5 and put it in your calculator and get yourself an answer, which should come out to 11.75, which should be the letter D. Number 17 says, which set of real numbers is ordered from greatest to least? If you change them all to decimals and look at it like money, it'll be easier to put them in order from greatest to least. For F, I already know a negative number is not greater than a positive number, so there's no way it can be F. For G, you have $17.33, $15.50, negative $2.50, and negative $4.58. That one is in order from greatest to least, so that would be your answer. H is not your answer for the same reason F isn't, because a negative is never going to be greater than a positive. And then J is not your answer because 20 divided by 3, because the square root of 35 gives you $5.91, and that's not greater than 750. Number 18 says an equation modeled below. Which statement is true? There's 3 x's, so obviously your equation is going to be 3x. Then there's 4 negatives, which is the same thing as minus 4. Then you have the equal sign. Then you have a negative x. And then you have 4 positives, which is the same thing as plus 4. Okay, let's see. A looks like that. B looks like that. C looks like that. The only one that doesn't is D, so you can eliminate that one right away. Then you have to solve for x. I'm going to go ahead and start showing you how to solve for x on the calculator without having to input or having to solve for it by hand. You're going to click on menu. Then click 3. Then click on 1 where it says numerical solve. And then you're going to type this in the calculator exactly the way it looks. Actually, it'll have open parentheses and then 3x minus 4 equals negative x plus 4. Then you're going to find the little comma sign. Click on that. Then you're going to put x to tell the calculator to solve for x. And then you're going to then you're going to put close parenthesis and then hit enter. It should give you x, which is a positive 2. So C is your answer. For number 18, I want you to go ahead and show the work on how to solve for x as well, even though you know how to do it on the calculator now. Just in case it asks you something like, what's the first step to solving this problem? If that were the case, the first step would be to get the x's on one side. So you would add x to both sides, which gives you 4x minus 4. That becomes 0. They asked you what would be your next step. It would be to add 4 to both sides. You would be left with 4x. That becomes 0 equals 4 plus 4 gives you 8. And then as you can see, 4 times what gives you 8? The answer would be 2. I'm going to skip number 19. I'll go back to it. Look at number 20. It says the scatter plot below compares the number of free shots attempted and the number of free shots made by the Tiger team during the last 10 games last year. Which statement best describes the relationship represented on the scatter plot? F says the number of free shots made increased when the number of free shots attempted were increased. So it's saying that every time we attempted a shot, the free shots made also increased. As you can see, that is true, so F was your answer. G says the number of free shots made remained constant. That would mean that the lines would stay pretty much a straight line. That didn't happen, so that's not G. H says the number of free shots were decreased when the number of free shots attempted increased, so that means that these dots would be making a decline, which it didn't, so that's not your answer. And J says the number of free shots increased when the number of free shots attempted decreased, which again, that's not true either. So that would make F your final answer. Number 21 says, which of the following represents the lengths of the sides of a right triangle? Go ahead and draw your right triangle. We're going to try A first. A is saying that your legs are 4 and 5. Remember, the hypotenuse is always the longest leg, or the longest, leg on the triangle. So that would have to be your 6. In order for that to be true, it would have to be, or you could use A squared plus B squared equals C squared. You have your 4. Then you have your 5. And that would have to equal your 6. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 5 is 25. Does that give you 6 times 6, which is 36? Obviously, it does not. It gives you 31, so that would not be your answer. Actually, it gives you 41, sorry. So that would not be your answer. So we could eliminate A. Let's try B. Go ahead and draw you another triangle. We'll go ahead and label the 12, the 15, and the 18. Okay, that means that 12 squared plus 15 squared has to equal 18 squared. Okay, so 12 times 12 gives you 144. 15 times 15 gives you the 225. So you need to ask yourself, does 144 plus the 225 give you 324, which is what 18 times 18 is? That would be an absolutely no. It should give you 369. Therefore, B would not be your answer. All right, let's go ahead and draw C. Go ahead and label your legs and your hypotenuse. Write the A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Go ahead and multiply 21 times 21, 28 times 28, and 35 times 35. All right, we got 441 plus 784. Add those two together, and it should give you 1,225. If you multiply 35 times 35, that also gives you 1,225. Therefore, ding, 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 that is your answer. The answer is C. Alrighty, let's go back to number 19. It says, which transformations do not affect the orientation of a two-dimensional figure on a coordinate plane? The answer to that would be translation and dilation. The answer to that would be the translation and the dilation do not affect the orientation. Therefore, your answer would be C and D only, which of course is the letter C. Alrighty.